Hello, everyone. Welcome to the presentation by Laura, Ali, and Paige. I'm Paige.
I'm Laura.
I'm Ali.
The test we piloted was College English Unit Test. The purpose of our test. It is a curriculum test designed for the freshmen who are taking the course College English Band 1. This is a criterion reference test which assesses the student's achievement after they have learned the 2 units of the course. The test objectives are composed of 2 parts, vocabulary and reading comprehension. In the vocabulary, we assess the student's abilities to recognize and understand words, phrases, and collocations, define or explain them, and use them appropriately in contexts. In reading comprehension, we assess students' abilities to read and understand the texts with the same topics of the 2 units the students have learned and solve the problems relevant to the reading passages. Here is our test design. For the vocabulary, there are 3 tasks: paraphrase, replacement, and blank filling. For the reading comprehension, there are 2 reading passages, followed by some questions. Each task consists of 5 items. Here is vocabulary part. Section A, paraphrase. In the directions, students will get clear about their tasks. They are asked to think about the meaning of each word, choose the correct explanation from the following 3 options, and write down the letter of the choice. As the sample has shown, frank. She is frank about the situation. Here, the right choice is A, honest, because it is a paraphrase for frank. Section B, replacement. In this section, there are 5 sentences, and the students are asked to replace the underlined parts with the words or phrases with the same meaning listed in the word bank. Here the sample is, when he had eaten the shellfish, he got rid of the shells. Got rid of. Then in the word bank, the right choice is C, discarded, because they have the same meaning. Section C is blank filling. The students is asked to read the following paragraph and choose the best word from the word bank to fill in the blanks. Here the sample is, I wanted to share an interesting story from my life, so I wrote in the word bank, a memoir is the right choice because it just completes the sentence, both in the structure and meaning. In the reading comprehension, the first reading passage is followed by some questions, and for each of them, there are 4 choices marked A, B, C, and D. The students are expected to find the best choice. And for reading passage 2, for each paragraph, there is a statement that summarizes the information in a paragraph. And then students are expected to choose the statement that best summarizes the paragraph.
Okay, and for this part, we have the summary of our results. So this includes our histogram here, which shows that the majority of the students did really well on the test. We had a very high median, higher than our mean here. And most students, the highest number of students, our mode here was 25, which was the maximum score. We set our cut score at 70%, which in our case was 17. So right here, we had a few students who didn't make the cut score, but most of the students did. And as a result, we had really high dependability for our tests. So in all these different measures of dependability, and our agreement was real high at 0.95. And you can see on the next page, our item analysis. So as we went through our item analysis, we found that A lot of our tasks did a really good job of distinguishing between those masters, those who were above the cut score, and the non-masters, those who weren't. So especially in our vocabulary here in tasks 2 and 3, the ones highlighted in green have a B index of above 0.5. So they do a really good job distinguishing between the masters and non-masters. And in task 1, we saw that they had really low B scores. So the ones in red here are ones that have below 0.1. And we think you can see the total item facility for these scores is really high. And so this suggests that these questions were easy for all of the students. And in the reading task, we see in general, similar things. We have one question that had a very high B, and then in task 1, one question that had a very low B. Most of them are somewhere in between. And then in task 2, we did see 3 items that did have a very low B as well. So both task 1 in vocabulary and task 2 in reading are some tasks we're going to take a closer look at for the rest of our item index or item analysis.
Okay, so continuing on for vocabulary task 1, the multiple choice paraphrase task format was easier than vocabulary tasks used in class. However, students gave feedback that paraphrasing vocabulary without multiple choice options would be too difficult. So for reading task 2, this section involved matching summaries to paragraphs. 3 of the items, especially the last item, had very low B scores and high total IF scores. This may be because there were 2 more responses than there were premises, and students were able to easily decide between the final options. Finally, I'll be talking about suggestions for revision. Overall, the test was successful in meeting its objectives. Vocabulary task 1 was fairly easy for all students. As Laura said, there is a low B score and a high IF score. So a possible revision could be to make the task more challenging. Students understood the tasks well and none were too confusing. And feedback from the students suggested vocabulary tasks 2 and 3 would be too difficult if we made it more challenging. Finally, there were no technical challenges because the test was paper-based. So thank you so much for watching, and your comments are welcome.